Warriors fans, buckle up because we just got some crushing news about a potential Kevin Durant reunion, and it's not what we wanted to hear. For weeks, rumors swirled about KD possibly making his way back to Golden State before the 2025 NBA trade deadline. The idea of reuniting with Steph Curry and chasing another championship had fans dreaming big. But now, according to NBA insider Shams Charania, that dream is officially dead. The Suns have shut down any possibility of trading Durant, leaving the Warriors scrambling for other options. So what happens next? Can Golden State still make a move to stay competitive? Stick around, because we're breaking it all down right now. Dub Nation, let's talk! Hey, what's up, Warriors fans? Welcome back to the channel, where we keep you updated with everything going on in the world of the Golden State Warriors. And today, man, we have to talk about this bombshell report from Shams Charania that has sent shockwaves through Dub Nation. If you were one of those fans holding out hope for a Kevin Durant reunion before the 2025 NBA trade deadline, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's not looking good. In fact, it's looking almost impossible at this point. We're going to break down exactly what Shams said, why a KD trade is now off the table, and what this means for the Warriors' chances of making a deep playoff run this season. So, let's rewind a little bit because over the past few months, there's been this growing buzz about the possibility of Kevin Durant coming back to the Warriors. And look, I get it. The nostalgia factor is real. The Warriors haven't looked like true title contenders this season, despite having Steph Curry still playing at an MVP level. Klay Thompson has been inconsistent. Draymond Green has been dealing with suspensions. The young guys like Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody have had their moments, but they're not quite there yet. And the reality is, this roster doesn't look like it has enough firepower to compete with the best teams in the West. Meanwhile, in Phoenix, things haven't exactly been smooth sailing for KD and the Suns either. They've dealt with injuries. Their chemistry has been questionable. Bradley Beal has barely been on the floor, and Devin Booker has been carrying a heavy load. There's been a sense that KD might not be thrilled with how things are going, and anytime there's a little bit of frustration with a star player, you know how it goes, trade rumors start flying. And for Warriors fans, the idea of bringing back Kevin Durant, a guy who already won 2 championships with this franchise, was obviously intriguing. But according to Shams Charania, that dream is officially dead. In his latest report, he made it very clear that the Phoenix Suns have zero interest in trading Kevin Durant before the deadline. And honestly, when you really think about it, it makes sense. Why would the Suns give up on KD when they're still trying to figure things out with this roster? They went all in on this big three of Durant, Booker, and Beal, and they're not going to just tear it down before they even get a chance to see what they can really do together. Plus, KD is still under contract. He's not a free agent. He doesn't have the leverage to force his way out right now. So, unless something drastic happens, he's staying in Phoenix. Now, where does that leave the Warriors? Because the reality is, this team still needs to make a move if they want to have any shot at competing in the playoffs. And if it's not Kevin Durant, then who? That's the big question. We've heard names like Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, and even Zach LaVine thrown around in trade talks. But with Siakam now in Indiana and the Bulls seemingly unwilling to just give away LaVine, the options are getting slimmer by the day. The Warriors front office is in a really tough spot right now. They have some young assets in Kuminga, Moody, and Brandon Podziemski. They have some expiring contracts they could use to match salaries. But they also have to be careful not to make a panic move that doesn't actually make them better. And look, let's be real. If the Warriors were going to trade for Kevin Durant, they would have had to give up a lot. We're talking multiple young players, draft picks, and probably some key rotation pieces. Would it have been worth it? Maybe. KD is still one of the best players in the league. But it would have been a risky move, and now that it's off the table, the Warriors have to pivot fast. The trade deadline is coming up, and they can't afford to just sit back and do nothing. If they do, they're basically saying they're fine with being a middle-of-the-pack team, and that's just not acceptable when you have Steph Curry still playing at this level. Speaking of Steph, you have to wonder what he's thinking about all of this. We know he wants to compete for championships. He's not here just to make the playoffs and get bounced in the first round. And if the front office doesn't make a significant move, it's fair to question whether they're really doing everything they can to maximize his window. Draymond Green has talked about how the team needs to make a move. Even Klay Thompson, who's been struggling this season, probably knows they need more help. So, the pressure is on the Warriors front office to deliver. Another thing to consider is that even if KD was available, there's still the question of whether he would actually want to come back to Golden State. We all remember how things ended the last time around. There was tension with Draymond. There were reports that KD felt like he wasn't fully embraced as part of the Warriors dynasty. Would he really want to go through all of that again? Maybe. Winning cures everything, and if KD thought this was his best shot at another ring, he might have been open to it. But now, it doesn't even matter because Phoenix isn't moving him, and the Warriors have to figure out Plan B. So, what is Plan B? Well, the Warriors still have some trade chips. If they really want to make a splash, they could explore a deal for someone like DeJounte Murray from the Hawks. He's a guy who could bring defense and playmaking while taking some of the pressure off Steph. Or maybe they go for a guy like Jeremy Grant from the Blazers, who could give them size, scoring, and versatility. They could also look at smaller moves to add depth, maybe targeting a solid veteran role player who can help shore up the rotation. But the bottom line is this Warriors team, as currently constructed, is not good enough to win a championship. That's just the reality. The West is too stacked. Denver looks like a powerhouse. Minnesota is for real. The Clippers have been rolling. The Warriors need to make a move if they want to be taken seriously as contenders, and unfortunately, Kevin Durant is no longer an option. Warriors fans, Shams just dropped a huge report, and I've got to ask, how are you feeling about this? There's been a lot of buzz about the potential of a Kevin Durant reunion with Golden State, but now that it's out there, was this something you were really hoping for, or did you always think it was just a dream? Maybe some of you were skeptical, given the current roster and the future of the team. But let's get real, if KD's not the move, who do you think the Warriors should target before the trade deadline? Do they need a bigger presence in the paint, more bench scoring, or maybe someone who can contribute on defense? There are tons of rumors out there, some intriguing, some surprising, but we want to hear your opinion. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's have a real talk about what this team needs to stay in title contention. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates on the latest Warriors news. We've got a lot to talk about as the trade deadline approaches, so stay tuned.